Reggie Bullock to the corner. Dorian Finney-Smith, wide open three. I can't be this negative over sports, guys. I mean, these guys just don't know what's going on. These guys don't know their fucking left foot from their right foot. This is so fucking pathetically embarrassing. This has got to be one of the most embarrassing Mavs games. I gotta chill. I can't be this worked up, man. I just straight up can't be this worked up about Mavs games. It's just sports. It's just a game. Just a stupid fucking game. That's all it is. No reason to get this worked up. It's a long season. It's a long season. It's a long fucking season. It's gonna be a really long season. So just relax. Just basketball. There's no reason to get this worked up over just basketball stuff. Oh, it is going. All right, guys, listen. I was not going to do post-game videos during the regular season for the Mavs, but I might start doing it. Why? Because this team is embarrassing, and they need somebody needs to fucking call it out how terrible this team has looked. And I wasn't going to say much because they're 3-1. So you don't want to complain too much about a 3-1 record, right? That's a really good start to the season. We'll take 3-1 every single day of the week. But the 3 wins have been horrible. Like I want to point me to any Mavs fan who felt good and confident after those 3 wins. Because in all 3 of those wins, we were down double digits. We've been down double digits in every single game so far this season. In all 3 of those wins, we came out looking like absolute ass in the first half of this game and the first half of these games. And the Mavs came out tonight on national television, mind you, ESPN, and just completely shit their pants. I don't know if I've seen a worse performance. I really don't know the last time I've seen a game this bad from this team. And I'm left very confused. I'm left just absolutely dumbfounded as to what in the fuck is going on with this organization currently. Like, what is happening? Because I have a hard time believing Jason Kidd is this bad. We knew Jason Kidd was going to be pretty bad. Like, we just knew it wasn't going to be good. But the hope was, like, oh, well, maybe the assistants will be good. And, well, Jason Kidd, the whole thing is he has good relationships around the league. So, you know, Jason Kidd is just a free agent destination, right? And, yeah, he might not be a good head coach, but you have Luka. Who cares? I refuse to believe Jason Kidd's this bad. I absolutely refuse to believe it. The 2 playoff caliber teams that we've played so far this season, and the Raptors, that might not be fair because the Raptors might be a playoff caliber team, but the 2 playoff caliber teams we played so far this season, in the Hawks and in the Nuggets, have just absolutely just throttled us. I mean, at no point in tonight's game were we close. Does any Mavs fan think at any point during tonight's game we were going to win? If I'm slurring my words, I'm sorry, because let's just say I try to get this game out of my memory as quickly as possible. So I'm a little bit drunk. But at any point tonight, did you think this team had a fucking chance in hell to win? No. They look so lethargic. What's the deal with that? What's the deal with Luka Doncic so far this season, playing probably the worst stretch of basketball I've ever seen him play? Even going back to his rookie season, has Luka played a stretch of basketball this bad? Like, what's going on? Luka coming at some point, right? Jason Kidd's gonna be the scapegoat all season long, and that's fine. At some point, though, we have to expect more out of Luka at the start of seasons. Okay, I know I'm not one to talk, but is Luka gonna come into shape? How Luka was just in the Olympics 1 month ago. When the hell was that? 2 months ago. How is Luka? How does he look this out of shape and this unprepared? Could someone fill me in? He looks so terrible right now. And you know what I think? This team desperately needs, and this team desperately needed it last year too. That's why they tried to go out and get James Johnson. They said James Johnson is the dog. James Johnson was a puppy. These vets who have been around a long time and had, playoff experience, championship experience. The Mavs don't have any of those guys. The Mavs don't have a single one of those guys. And throughout Luka's tenure, besides Dirk season 1, have the Mavs ever had one of those guys for Luka? I'm trying to think. Have the Mavs ever had a veteran presence since they drafted Luka who has playoff experience? Okay, and I'm not. Don't say JJ Redick. Do not say JJ Redick. Okay, playoff experience or championship experience? Have they fucking had a single one of those guys to sit down and get in Luka's ear? Because this whole pouting and shit that Luka does every fucking game now, right? His shot's not falling. The team doesn't look good. Somebody's got to get in his ear. Somebody in the organization has to yell at him. Where is it? Did Rick do it? I know Cuban never would in a million years. I don't expect Cuban would. Do you think Jason Kidd's going to? Jason Kidd is scared for his fucking life. Like, I'm sorry. Jason Kidd has piss running down his leg on the sideline. He just does not. He's terrified. Jason Kidd has no business being the head coach of this franchise. Like, seriously. And I was saying this in the chat. If Jason Kidd was not on that 2011 team, there's no chance he's the head coach currently. No chance he's the head coach. Oh, yeah, we need Bob. Yeah, bring Bob back. Bob seemed to be the only guy in the fucking organization that he ever stood up to Luka, and his ass was gone immediately. Which, fine, Bob, see ya. I'm not defending Bob. I'm not defending Harlem Bob here. But how are we year 4 into Luka's tenure, and Luka's still doing this shit? This is one of the biggest things Luka needed to improve. I've been saying it forever. Beyond anything on the court, free throw shooting, a consistent 3-point shot, whatever. Conditioning, 1, which he has not done, obviously. And 2, strengthening up mentally. Stepping into that leader role that Luka needs to be as the best player on a team. Whether you want to be the leader or not, if you're the best player, the superstar of your team, you are the de facto leader. Whether you want to be or not. That's just the reality. Okay? And he just needs to get it right, man. Enough of this moping around bullshit. Say what you want about Russell Westbrook and Russell Westbrook's, his inefficiency. He turns the ball over 10 times. He breaks jump shots. He is 110% every single time he plays. Every single time he plays. And I guarantee you, all the teams that he is on, respects the shit out of that. Luka just mopes around. It's just sad to see. And the team follows suit. 75 points tonight, total. That's so bad. I refuse to believe that's Jason Kidd and Jason Kidd alone. 87 points against the Hawks in a loss, 75 points against the Nuggets in a loss. So I want you guys to think. Who are we as a team, the Mavs, currently through 5 games? The team that has gotten just the shit beat out of them by the 2 playoff caliber teams they've played, or the team that has scraped by ugly ass wins against non-playoff caliber teams in games in which they've been losing by double digits. Which team do you think we are? Huh? You're not going to like the answer. I promise you that. You're not going to like the answer. And it all goes back to fucking horrible team building. It all goes back to just terrible team building. Dwight Powell's out here. This team is not serious until Dwight Powell's gone. That's just the reality. He's horrible. He's a terrible basketball player. Yet he's starting every game still. That's embarrassing. So that's got you. If you're associated with the Dallas Mavericks, that has to embarrass you at some level. That has to embarrass you at some level. That Dwight Powell is still getting this level of playing time. Dwight Powell wants to be an 8th man, 9th man because the team loves him and he's a locker room presence. Fine. That's okay. But this is bad. You cannot convince me Moses Brown it can't do this. Right? We have Josh Green running around there doing nothing. So that 2020 draft is just completely and totally out the window. Tyler Bay's gone. I don't know if he's on an NBA team currently. Fucking Tyrell Terry's not on an NBA team currently. And now Josh Green's doing this. So good to see. Good to see that this franchise completely punted another draft. You had reports that Donnie Nelson wasn't even in the room for the draft. What the hell's going on? And then those other reports that Chandler Parsons was essentially the fucking GM of this team for 2 years. Does that sound like a serious basketball team? That's not a serious basketball organization. Chandler Parsons was your GM. I think it's going to be a rough season for the Mavs. I just do. We had low points at the start of last season too, but you could at least put the excuse on COVID. What's going on here? What's happening currently? I'm honestly confused. I really don't know what I'm looking at. Who is to blame? Because there's no way Kid's this bad. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the one constant. The one singular constant. I'm going to go back to Cuban every single fucking time. Every time I'm going to go back to Cuban. Why wouldn't I? He's the only constant. We can't blame Rick anymore. We can't blame Donnie. We could blame Donnie. This horrible roster construction is partially his fault. But you had a whole offseason with a whole new regime this past offseason to make changes, and you didn't do anything besides bringing Reggie Bullock, who's barely playing. He's starting now, but that's because of injuries. So it's you had Cuban addressing the media saying that he knows they need to get a secondary ball handler and a secondary playmaker. And they didn't do it. I just don't know what to make of this team currently, man. I fear we're going to be a play-in caliber team. Like, that's just what I'm looking at. Luka's not going to be this bad over the course of the whole season. I just don't believe that. His body language is terrible. I don't think he's going to request a trade or anything like that. That's what some people are saying. I don't think that's what's happening here. I think that this is just who Luka is as a player, unfortunately. The whole moping and pouting and all of this, throwing a fit, it's horrible. It's horrible to see. That just might be who he is. And, he's still young. That's the thing. He's still young, so he can move on from that. But it has to be soon. It has to be sooner rather than later. And what else was I getting at? We were asking this in the chat. In a hypothetical situation where into the season, the Mavs are like barely fighting for a play-in spot and they look terrible, or they're an 8, 9, 10 seed and we're about to get just destroyed in the first round, would you rather just kind of tank a little bit towards the end of the season so you get a good draft pick, hopefully take the draft seriously, and get like a legitimate young player to put alongside Luka moving forward? Because honestly, I don't know what the direction of this team is right now. Obviously, we're only 5 games into the season. I'm not trying to overreact too much, which I know I am. But this is pathetic. You have to understand that. This is you go 3-2, right? And you lose some hard-fought, close games to the Hawks and to the Nuggets. That's one thing. That is one thing. That's fine. But you get destroyed in your 2 losses, and then just don't look good at all in your 3 wins. Like, do not look good whatsoever in your 3 wins and scrape by because you're playing bad teams. What's the takeaway supposed to be? What's the takeaway? Because I'm looking at a team that is capped, they are at the ceiling as far as cap goes. We have KP on a horrible contract. Luka's Supermax is about to kick in. You have to pay Jalen Brunson. You just paid Tim Hardaway. You got Reggie Bullock making $10 million a year. You have Dwight Powell making God knows what. I mean, if we're up to Cuban, Dwight Powell might get $30 million a year. God knows what the hell's going on there. Like, I don't know what this team does moving forward. Seriously. Hopefully good things. But let me tell you something. My hopes are not high. So they play on Sunday against the Kings at 2:30 p.m. Sunday game against the Kings during the day. My hopes aren't high, just because even if the Mavs are playing well, that's like one of those weird games that they lose. I mean, remember that 2-week stretch last year where they only lost 3 games and all 3 of those games were to the Kings. So we'll see. I mean, we need to win that game, and then we have Miami. Our schedule is not that hard, guys. So we might be winning games against some of these teams like the Spurs and the Celtics, who don't look good, and the Pelicans, who look atrocious, and then the Spurs again. And our record is not going to be a solid indication of our team currently. It just isn't. If you had to ask one question to Cuban, what would it be? What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? That's what I would ask.